Hello,
Hello there.
and welcome back to the Tom and Jerry Experience. So how you been, Tom?
I've been fine, Jerry.
Captain Tom.
Hanging in there.
Good. I will say this, it's very cold outside. Although, in this lovely studio we would never know that.
It is wintertime.
This is true. So before we get started with our front row parking segment, I don't know if you guys have been watching the NFL playoffs. Some exciting games were on TV yesterday.
Yes, they were.
I know we had the Bills and
You had the Bills and the Broncos,
right?
And the Broncos won that game in overtime, 33-30.
I tell you, that was a crazy game.
It was. It kept going back and forth, and
it was exciting.
But the Broncos were ahead like a big number.
Yeah.
In the first half, it's like
right. And did you hear what happened to the quarterback of the Broncos?
No.
So apparently he broke a bone in his. He is out the rest of the playoffs. So whoever their backup is, I don't know who that is going to have to carry them. Can you imagine? Hey, you haven't played all year, but we're going to put you in for the AFC Championship
game. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
So then there was also on the other side of the world, right? We had who'd we have? San Francisco and Seattle. Right?
Yeah, and that was maybe that's the game I'm thinking of. That was
more of a blowout.
That was a blowout. Yeah. That was the game that was like 24-6 at even halftime.
Yeah, and
it's like, give me a break.
I don't even think.
It's even funnier than that.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's move on, shall we? So in today's episode of what we call front row parking, we went out on the like I like to call it the interwebs, right? We went out on the interwebs, and we asked our viewers, okay, if you could be a cartoon character, right? Who would it be, and kind of why, right? Why would you want to be this cartoon character? Now, you and I will talk about ours last. All right. How about we do that? Okay. So the first one, I think, is on your list there. Okay.
On my list.
Yep. So
first one I've got comes from Rick.
Okay.
He says Race Bannon. He's the OG badass of all things.
Now, for our viewers out there that aren't young and hip like we are, OG stands for Original Gangsta, right? I believe that. Right, producer? Is that right? Yeah, he's kind of young. All right, so
I did not know that.
Right? Were we able to show a picture?
I did.
Oh, outstanding!
So we got the picture of Race Bannon.
Yes, good stuff. All right, I'll do the next one.
Real quick though, for those who don't know who Race Bannon is,
okay,
he comes from the cartoon Johnny Quest.
Which
came out when I was a kid.
When you were a kid?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so when you and Jesus were watching cartoons together on Saturday morning, right? Is that...
Me and whoever, yeah.
I didn't get a laughter on that one. That's funny. All right.
You got the seagulls.
So right, the crickets. Right. All right, so the next one comes from a buddy of mine named Rob. All right. So if he could be a cartoon character, he said Marvin the Martian. And here's what he says. Just so I can say, where is the earth-shattering kaboom? I didn't know he said that, but apparently he said
either.
Where is the earth-shattering kaboom? Okay, all right. Thank you, Rob, for your input. Next one. I believe your second one
real
there.
Real quick about Marvin the Martian. That was part of Bugs Bunny.
You know what? You're right.
I know.
Yeah.
And do you know who did all those voices?
No, I do not.
Of all of them was shoot, I had a name under my brain a minute ago. Mel Blanc.
Now, see, folks, this is our segment we like to call Tom's Useless Information.
Well, that too. Well, just so if you're interested, Mel Blanc Jr. is now doing them.
Really?
Yes.
Now, how ironic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bringing on the tradition. All right, what's the next one you got there?
Next one comes from
Nick.
Did you say commander?
Oh, he was a commander in the Navy.
Commander Nick, it says here. He said Captain Devo. It says it was what my fellow junior officers nicknamed me on the USS Briscoe.
Okay.
It says DD 977 between 89 and 92.
So, personally, I've never heard of Captain Devo.
Me neither.
That's a new one on me. For our listeners who are not aware, so
do we have the picture of Mr. Devo? Okay,
outstanding. Cool. So Mick was he was an officer in the Navy, and he submitted that, and he mentioned on DD 977. So that's a destroyer. So that's a smaller type of ship. So thank you for the input. All right. So the next one I have. All right, I kind of like this one. So the next one is She-Ra. All right. Does anybody know?
And who was that sent in by?
I believe that was sent in by Sue. I believe Sue said She-Ra. Okay. Now, She-Ra, she was in the cartoon He-Man, if you guys remember He-Man, and the Masters of the Universe. Right?
It was like a spin-off of
it. Okay, gotcha.
And she had her own cartoon.
And the person who submitted this said she was a badass warrior.
Pretty much. If you look at the sword she's holding, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what picture that, but man, I tell you what, she looks like a badass.
That was a futuristic cartoon, as it were.
Yeah, nice. All right. So She-Ra. All right. So the next one that we have comes to us from who, Tom?
Beth.
Beth. All right. What is Beth?
Beth said would be Tweety Bird because he's always aware of your surroundings.
Who was that suffering succotash?
That was Tweety. That was Sylvester.
Sylvester was he was always trying to get that Tweety Bird.
Never. He'd have it in his mouth and they'd make him spit it back out. But yeah,
those were probably just for me, right? Those had to be some of my favorite cartoons, I think. The Bugs Bunnies and the Sylvester.
They quit making them because they kept saying they were too violent.
Too violent.
The Flintstones and all that.
Yeah. But it mentioned the Flintstones. If I'm not mistaken, okay. I feel like they did like cigarette commercials during
Yes, they did. They did do cigarette commercials back in them days. Why, we don't know. But
for kids, right?
Actually, the Flintstones were like the Simpsons, meaning they were on in prime time.
I was just getting ready to say that. I think the reason they had those commercials was because it was in prime time.
Right.
Gosh, can you imagine a cartoon that we would watch on Saturday morning used to be prime time? That's just crazy.
Well, hey, that cartoon, came out the same year I was born. So
holy cow.
That cartoon is now 65 years old.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We're getting a sound here.
I couldn't find it.
No, we couldn't find
it.
The one that talks about people being old or something. I don't know. All right. So the next one I have now. So Nancy submitted this one. It is this is a classic here. Betty Boop. Betty Boop. All right. She says she and her friends would get into trouble and not mess up a curl. So in other words, they could get in trouble and do whatever they're doing and not mess up their hair,
Yeah.
Now, if I remember, I tell you, Betty Boop was kind of cute, from what I remember back in the day.
Kind of racy, too, if you look at the
I don't know.
outfit.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
was she prime time as well? I don't know.
I don't know. That would have been before our time.
This is true.
The Betty Boop cartoons must have been one of them cartoons that people back in the day, back in the 40s and that, would go to the movie houses.
Sure, to see that. Yeah.
And they would be like spending all day there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they would get their news, but they would have cartoons and a lot of them would be Disney. If you remember a movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I do, yep.
Okay, there was a scene where the guy went to this club or whatever.
Okay.
And they had live people in the audience.
Right, yeah.
But the cartoon characters were the acts.
Yeah, and they kind of came to life, yeah.
The first time you had Donald Duck and Daffy Duck in the same scene, you had Warner Brothers and Disney in that movie for the first time ever.
Wow.
And you had another scene later where it was Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the same scene.
In the same scene together.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
How dare they?
But in that scene I was talking about where he went to Jessica Rabbit. I don't know if you remember what Jessica Rabbit looked like.
Yeah.
But
she was like the modern day Betty Boop, right? So.
Or even
yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
One of her lines was, "I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way."
Right.
But anyway,
that's funny. Can I use that line? I'm going to use that line.
Betty, be my guest. It ain't mine. But Betty Boop in that movie was done in black and white.
Oh,
while everything else around her was in color.
I kind of remember that. Okay, so I said Betty Boop. Tom, who's your next one on your list? There?
The last one. I think I said Tweety Bird already, right?
So so
this is submitted by Shannon.
Okay.
Who said the Roadrunner, and she says Harmless Menace.
A Harmless Menace, Roadrunner. You know, I love that cartoon as well, though.
Oh, yeah.
Old Wile E. Coyote. And if you think about it, Roadrunner never talks. You never hear not that I recall. Yes, you hear a little bit of meat here and there, but he might hold a sign. Yeah, but that's about it. Yeah. But and I tell you, that Wile E. Coyote, man, he did everything he could, couldn't he, just to get that Roadrunner.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's one of those that started in the movie houses.
You know what? It may have. You know, I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, talking about Bugs Bunny, they always called him the Oscar-winning rabbit. Do you know why that was?
I do not.
Because that cartoon must have won some kind of Oscar.
You know, I wonder. So you say in the movie house. So before we go to our
movie theater,
right? No, yeah, I know what you're saying.
For those who don't know what I mean,
right. So like, was this like kind of like part of an intermission thing? Like they would show cartoons, or was that like a feature?
I mean, I don't know. To tell you the truth, we'd have to ask some of our older relatives we might have.
Yeah. Future guests.
Yeah, future guests, yeah.
Yeah, and because unfortunately some of the ones that would know are no longer with us.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
But I'm the way I'm thinking is it was like in between, maybe they'd see him like a silent movie or something.
Yes.
Or a talkie movie. I don't know. That's when they started calling them talkies, when they went from silent film to having sound.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think the cartoons were in between any kind of feature film.
And if you didn't like the cartoon, you could go take a break, go to the bathroom, whatever.
Right. Plus, which they would show what they used to call newsreels.
Oh yeah.
And then you'd also get your news. It'd be late news, but you'd get the news every Saturday, and it would cost like some really weird thing, like 15 cents to get in.
Oh, ungodly.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying the way it is now, that would be like
right.
You know, the economy the way it was, I guess, and.
Well, things were, different price and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, things were a nickel and
right.
10 and 15 cents all the time.
I think nowadays you might pay more for the popcorn and drinks than you do the movie itself. So.
I'm not sure. I haven't been to go see a movie at a theater in a long time.
Been a minute, huh? All right, so
or a couple.
The last two that we want to mention, all right, are ones that Tom and I have said would be our. Now, Tom mentioned it, and you mentioned this in a previous show.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and say it again. So the next one on our list is Space Ghost.
Yes.
Now, this is the one that Tom said he would like to be. Now, remind us, why did you say Space Ghost?
Well, we also had in a previous show, we were talking about what superpower we were.
Sure, yeah.
Space Ghost fits my superpowers, which were invisibility and to be able to fly.
Right.
But however, he had other powers beside those.
Now,
But he was from another planet and all this other nonsense in the show. But
so kind of like Superman. Did Space Ghost have any weaknesses? No, but I mean, did he have weaknesses?
I don't remember.
How did you beat that guy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't remember what they did or how. It was not a very long-lived
show
that I can remember.
Yeah.
I just remember that particular character could be invisible and fly.
Yeah.
And you got a picture of him there, and
the Space Ghost picture came up. Yes, awesome.
So,
Well, the final one we're going to talk about, and now this is a newer cartoon. I'll just say that, a newer
early 2000s.
Yes. So our producer, this was actually from probably his favorite cartoon growing up. Okay, but I like this one. So there's a show called, I think it's called Peep in the
Big Wide World.
Peep in the
Big Wide World.
Big Wide World. So my favorite would be Peep from that show, Peep, right? Okay. So, like I mentioned, we were talking offline a little bit about the show because I know you had said I've never heard of that show before. So, you basically have like a robin. Now these are like little kid birds, right? You have a duck, a robin, and then you have like the rooster or the chick or whatever. Okay, and that's Peep. Okay, but here's the thing: Peep is I made some notes here. Okay, he's pretty chill, and he doesn't seem to stress too much. So the other characters in the show, they have a little bit of stress. They're always stressing about stuff. So, so that would be my favorite. All right, would be Peep. All right, so in a previous show, we had asked about if you won the lottery, okay? And remember I said net $10 million. Okay, this is from a previous show. Right. This is going to kind of segue into our next show. Yeah, okay. So I'm just kind of reminding the audience of we had put out there again, hey, if you won the lottery, what would you do with that money?
Right.
And got some good answers. We'll remind, during that podcast, we'll talk about, what you and I would do with that. But right. I did get some interesting answers. A lot of, how do I say this? The theme was very similar, you know what I mean, amongst all of them, but what people said,
in my estimation, most people are going to want the similar type of things that we're going to be talking about.
Correct. Yes. Just, I want to buy a tank of gas. That's about it. No. But anyway.
Let's hope it don't get to that.
Right. No. All right. I want to mention so in a previous show, we had asked people to submit dad jokes. Okay. And we received a couple late entries.
Okay.
So I'd like to call this segment, and we can kind of do this if we'd like for future as well. But we'll call this the dad joke of the day.
Okay.
Or the dad joke of the episode. Yeah. So
we're not doing this every day, unfortunately.
Right, sure. So this one comes from Aubrey. I've mentioned her before. She's my wife. Okay. And I'll just preface this by saying it's a little bit PG. PG-13. It leans more towards that, okay? So I'm going to read this to you. All right. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Jerry.
Did you hear about the guy who painted glitter all over his balls? Did you hear about that?
No, and I hope I don't see it either.
Hey, you ready for this? Pretty nuts, huh?
Oh, God. That's actually a groaner.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah.
All right. They are very pretty. All right. I want to kind of put a question out there to the audience for a future podcast. All right. And starting to collect some information now, but this is for a future podcast, but we'll go ahead and mention it now, so maybe we'll get some responses as well. And don't answer this question yet. Just say yes or no, okay? But this is the question to the audience. Have you ever met a celebrity? Let me ask you this.
I'd say yes.
Captain Tom says, yes, I have. Sailor Jerry says, yes. I will say, I have met a celebrity. Not only have I met one, but we actually sat down and had a conversation.
No, I never did that, but I've just got to say hi to some.
Gotcha.
We've had conversations.
That's
No,
right.
I mean just to say hi, and then was like hi and bye.
Right. Gotcha. Hey, our producer's pretty famous, and we talk to him every day. No, so you know what? Submit that, right? If you're listening,
Or
have you ever, or watching, right? Watching and listening, hopefully. Have you ever met a celebrity? If so, did you guys have a conversation? What went on? How did this come about? And we'd like to hear from that. Okay. But before we close for today, I'd like to say the thing that I try to say every show, right? And it's the thing that my mom taught me as a kid. Hey guys, before we say goodbye, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
And I'd like to say goodbye and see you, love you, and see you the next time.
All right. You guys have a great one. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.